Oh, okay. I'm live. As you can see, I fucking rock at this shit. I am certainly taking videos for a living. Give me 1 second here because if it does watch this, since I have the link, I can do that. Um, wow, so fast. Okay, so hi. My name is Phoenix, and I am doing this video because I'm switching over from Facebook, and it's a vlog, right? Video blog, duh, very exciting shit right there. But the reason I'm doing this is the same reason that I'm doing it on the Facebook page. Is one, it's a healing method for me. It's a way for me to express myself, get my thoughts and ideas out there, hear from other people what their thoughts and ideas are. It can be very distracting doing this, especially for someone like me. But if you watch the videos, I always see people doing the click here thing. So I'm assuming that somewhere down there or over there or up there is a click here to I don't know, favorite it or something, whatever. If you want to hear me talk, do that. If you don't, that's okay too. Bye bye. So, I want to talk to you about anger. Oh, there's a cat. Hi, baby. I want to talk to you about anger and rage. Now, anger and rage are related, they are similar, and I consider anger more stemming out of frustration or fear, ignorance, but mostly frustration or fear. And shit, is this working? Like, there's no other sound. Test. Let's see. What am I doing wrong? Do I have to start this all over again? Testing. Doesn't look like you can hear me. I wonder if I went to this and I could tell if I could hear me. This is like a test. I love it. All right. So what the fuck? Yeah. I think it's oh yeah, I'm live. It's showing me. Oh, it works. Okay. Gotta love that. A double me there. That's kind of humorous. All right, so for those of you who know me, you don't need to know this information, but my basic backstory is this. I moved about 42 times by the time I was 10 or 11. I was orphaned between 8 and 10. I'm not exactly sure right now what the dates are. I will be getting into that at some point. Now, I was fortunate enough to eventually be adopted by the most amazing woman in the world. You'll meet her, I'm sure. But she looked in a book and she chose me. She picked me out among so many others, and it was pretty amazing to me. Excuse me. I don't know. It's kind of fascinating to me that she didn't throw me away, because by that time I was a problem child and I was filled with rage and anger for so many reasons. So the questions that I want to go over are two questions. What is anger and what is rage? Okay. Now you can look up the definition of these things. You're going to find a whole bunch of websites that just talk, but don't say anything. I do that too. So, but, it's like the information that I'm trying to find, I'm not able to find on other websites. That's why I created Adult Survivors of Childhood Trauma and Abuse, so that I could reach other people and they could see that they are not alone. And I could know I'm not alone. Everybody's story is valid. It doesn't matter what your fucking story is, it's valid. We live in this world that is just not meant for people who suffer from mental illness or mental disorders, which I think I told you about. I have PTSD, CPTSD, and MDD. And I am going on 8 okay days in a row, 8 stable days in a row. And well, frankly, I don't remember the last time I went through 8 days in a row feeling, pumped and ready to work and do shit. Can't remember the last time that happened. Anyways, what is anger? Now, understand that I am not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, nor do I play one on TV. I am no doctor. I am a survivor. Who is trying to find her way in life, who is trying to find the person that she is going to work towards being. Okay? Each and every one of us has our own ideas, right? But to me, it's as if we forget how unique and amazing we are, and we waste our lives trying to stand up to someone else's code, trying to look like someone else, trying to act like someone else, right? Because if someone says, "How are you doing?" and you're having a shitty day, and you say, I'm having a shitty day, or something like that, that's not what they want to hear. When they ask, "How you doing?" they want to hear, "Okay," and then you ask it and they say, "Okay." Can you imagine if we just stopped lying to each other? I wonder if that would start more blah, blah, blah. Let me try that again. More wars, more wars, for the crying out loud, or less. But really, everything goes down to communication. Anger and rage, the two questions: what is anger? What is rage? In my humble opinion, my theory is that anger and rage are umbrella terms, just like PTSD, just like CPTSD, MDD. Any disorder, any mental illness is, they're all going to be umbrella terms, and the side effects are underneath, and if you have more than one disorder, the side effects can twist and turn, and it's a clusterfuck. I have spent the last several years recovering from a breakdown. I've been working on understanding myself, my past, trying to formulate a future and the present journey that I am on right now. I want to focus on that. And it feels really good to be able to think about that now. And I know that it's going to go down. I know I'm going to have it down, but at least I'm having this, and it's been for 8 days, and I've been able to get a lot done. Now, anger is, to me, something that stems mostly from ignorance, from indoctrination. Fear is the biggest one, I think, for anger. Anger can also come when you're overwhelmed, and it can come when you are misinterpreting a situation or interpreting it correctly, and it's a bad situation. Anger comes from many places. Rage is something entirely different in my theory. And I see rage also as an umbrella term. But the difference is anger, that's easy enough to deal with. My primal brain is not, overtaking me. But when the rage comes, that's when I have the hardest time. And the rage is something, for me that built slowly, every move, every fist, just everything, that was done to me. All of that stuff, right? It built this rage. It's like, you're walking upstairs and you're picking up these little boxes filled with rage. It is what it is, right? It's an emotion that I have to deal with. Now, my bio mother, when she had psychotic episodes, she would, she would be so filled with righteous anger and rage. Rage makes you throw a child across the room. Rage makes you hit somebody's car when they almost back into you, right? That's primal brain. That's just, well, not the throwing the child. I don't know what the fuck that is, but rage is powerful, and rage never truly goes away. It stays within you. You can work, as I am doing, to become a mellow, chill person who knows how to avoid the rage because I know the triggers. But the truth is that because of who I am and because of the disorders I have, I know I am never going to be fully healed. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen for a lot of people. And it almost makes me sad to say that because so many want to believe it. There's no before for me. There may be for others, but there isn't for me. From the moment I was born to the moment I was adopted, the abuse was there. I can't see the faces. I don't know the names. But if I did, I would share them because I do not believe in protecting the abuser nor the abuser's family. I owe them nothing. I didn't abuse myself. Abuse is a choice. How you respond to rage is a choice. How you respond to anger is a choice. You see, I'm never going to be 100% of a human being. I mean, I am 100% of a human being, but what I went through is never going to go away. I'm never going to forget it. All I can do is learn how to have these types of days where I can function and focus and think and work on my business, work on my hobbies, work on my art. And, well, at some point, work on my house. It's a disaster zone. Rage. Rage is everything. Rage is every time someone tells you you are worthless. Every time someone tells you that you are never going to be loved. Every time that someone slaps you, punches you, kicks you, throws you across rooms, and then has the gall to say, if you don't stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about. And I'm like, bitch, you already did. That's why I'm crying. Logic makes no sense, right? The person who's doing the abuse, I don't know what they're feeling. I would assume that they're feeling a type of rage and they're misdirecting it and they take it out because they are not self-aware. If you take it out on other people, you're not looking internally enough and you're not fighting to become the person that you could be. So, rage and anger, they change, they're biological changes, chemical changes in the brain, right, that cause these. So it's not like you can reach in and take this pathway and connect it with this pathway and boom, you're okay. That's not how it works. See, here's the deal. We're not responsible for the abuse. We're not responsible for the after effects. And until we are aware, we are not responsible for every single action. I'm not saying that, it's okay to punch somebody or whatever, but I'm just saying that we're responsible. I'm responsible. You are responsible for what you do and for what you say, for the messages that you write on social media trying to hurt people, for the beating of people because they made you angry, they looked at you wrong or said something. It's always somebody else's fault until it's not. I learned that at an early age. And it wasn't until I sought help. 40, I was 41, I think. So long ago. No, I'm 44 now. But I think I was 41 back then. And I sought help. And I thought, this is going to fix it. But therapy does not work for someone like me. Hey, guess what? It may not work for someone like you either. Therapy is not always the answer. Medication is not always the answer. It's a matter of finding what is the right method of healing to approach someone with, depending upon, who they are, what they're feeling, what they say, and all of this stuff, the personality of the person. And for me, I look at psychologists and I just see, the kids I went to school with, and I see me because that's one of the things that I had majored in before I changed majors like 500 times. I've always been fascinated by people, and myself in particular. And no, that's not narcissistic. I'm interested in how I've developed, how I continue to develop, how I'm able to change things that are biochemical. Why do we make the choices that we make? Why did I survive when so many didn't? Who are we that we are so different yet so similar? I don't even remember any of the foster kids. And I know I shared rooms and beds and stuff all the time with other foster kids, and I can't remember any of them. I guess we never really made friends because we always knew that we were not going to be there long. But the anger, the rage that built with every single injury, every single harsh word, every move, every time I was ripped away from my mother, every time I was told how worthless I was, how stupid I was. They thought that I was never going to have real relationships with people. And I remember when I first read that, I cringed, and I think I started to cry because this was back before I was seeking help, and I was constantly filled with anxiety and panic. And of course, something like that would throw me over the edge. What idiots. Oh, my mother would say the same thing. She's very pissed at all of them. But that's another story for another time. Right now, we're dealing with anger and rage, and I'm like constantly adjusting myself. Okay, so for me, rage is the biggest monster for me, and it has almost like I have visualized it as a Black Panther. And I've also visualized it as the blood running through my veins. When the rage comes out, it just goes black, envisioning that. I don't actually see it. I'm not like, hallucinating or anything. No offense to those of you who do. Nothing to be ashamed of. I am so sick and tired of people building up stigma against people who struggle mentally. Why would you fucking do that? I mean, it's just stupid. Somebody's different because they're hurting, and you're going to make fun of them. You're going to treat them differently, treat them badly, and that's okay with you. Look, rage builds over time. Rage comes from every poke of the needle, every time you're thrown away, every time someone takes away your power to speak for yourself, every time they take away your humanity and you're just a number, that rage builds. Every time you see a family laughing and smiling and having a good time, that rage builds. Every time you say goodbye with whoever you're with to someone, right? As soon as you both get into the apartment, the house, whatever, that comes the face where you know that you're in trouble because they were faking when they were in public. But when you're behind closed doors, that's when the abuse happens. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was never really a good victim. And the other thing is, I thought I knew that this was normal, that type of life is something that everybody has. The rage is what started to make me an undesirable. It started to have people get rid of me quicker. I was cute when I was little, but when you get to the point where rage is so much a part of you that it's like breathing, it's the only way you can protect yourself, by putting up those walls and forcing what you are experiencing, what you are feeling, forcing that shit onto somebody else, not even realizing that's what you're doing. Rage causes child abuse. It causes bad relationships, relationship abuse. It causes someone the ability to live a decent life because they are constantly bombarded by these feelings, these emotions that just seem to take over. It's one thing to have, the primitive brain cause something, because that happens like in a, fraction of a second. You can't stop the fucking primitive brain, but you can work with it. And so anger and rage are something, I believe they're like forced on us because of what we went through. I would not have this rage in my chest. I would not have the pain that I suffer if I had had a happy home and I had not been abused but loved. But there's no point in that thought. I mean, I used to focus on that a lot at the beginning of the journey, I realized that I am not I forgot where I was going with that. That'll happen a lot. Let's go back to my notes. So let's think about the impact of your rage. What do you do? For me, screaming, using every offensive word in the book, just trying to get somebody to feel as bad as I did. I didn't know that's why, but that's why. Now, the only person who has ever withstood that is my mom, the woman who adopted me. I'm very fortunate. Very. But the impact of your rage on other people is negative. And it's also negative for you, right? You can hurt people, you can harm people psychologically and physically. And you will not even realize you're an abuser if you don't look inside of yourself, if you don't research. You have to know what you're up against if you're going to try to heal, and you have to know what healing means. They don't give you a fucking booklet. Oh my God. And seriously, if one person writes anything about their God and their Bible, you will be immediately blocked. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put that on the list of words to block. So, it hurts people. You're causing harm, and you are doing it. It doesn't matter what happened to us. We are here now. It matters and it doesn't matter. But we are here now, and we need to focus on the fight to move forward. And what I found out was that it was not about looking back. What's going on with me now is purely chemical, based on... Actually, no, that's not true. I used to say that, but that's not true. I don't know what the fuck is going on with me. I'm doing the best that I can, but rage rarely comes out. And when it comes out, it is not because I chose for it. It was because I was pushed too far. It was because I had a flashback. I was triggered by something, right? And so what I've come to realize, and what is a huge part of me, is that we are all responsible for ourselves, regardless of what has happened. That means you cannot take your rage out on someone else. You need to stop and analyze that shit. Make it your bitch. Why are you angry? No. Seriously. Why are you angry? Look deeper inside of yourself because you have been triggered. What were you triggered by? Identify the trigger. And it's not somebody else's fault how you feel and how you react. Truly. You're the one with the choice. May not feel like it, but you are the one with the choice. Do you want to be a better person according to your standards? Do you know what a better person is according to your standards? Have you thought about it? What is your game plan? What's your goal? You can't immediately jump in and be healed. That's not how this shit works. Rage. Rage becomes a habit. Rage becomes a pattern. And if you feed it continuously without analyzing it, without understanding yourself better, you're going to have a really fucking hard time in life. And you might be thinking, bitch, I've had a hard time in life. It's going to be worse. Rage is not okay. No, actually, let me rephrase that. Rage is okay. It's a valid emotion. However, taking that rage out on another human being, on an animal, that's not okay. On yourself, that's not okay. That's a problem. One of the things that I really wanted to go over with you guys is the term overreacting. Did you just cringe? I cringed internally. But seriously, I know that people have said to you, you're overreacting. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. I don't know. Somebody else can think of some other ones, I guess. But these people, by saying that, are devaluing you. Just because you have mental illness, just because you have mental disorders, it does not mean that you are not able to get angry. It does not mean that you are not able to rage against what happened to you. It's perfectly natural. You're responding as a human being would respond, should respond. But just because you have these disorders does not mean that what you say, what you feel, and what you do is invalid. People will try to take away your power because they will take away your humanity. And you have to be prepared for that. And you have to have a way to protect yourself from that. And I will be writing course material and things like that so that I can help people as well. Check out the Patreon account if you want to. If you don't. But if you have a little extra cash and you can throw it my way, that would be awesome because I'm a broke bitch. I got nothing. I bet you're in the same boat. You know, overreacting is I found it in articles when I was researching this. And it pissed me off. Perhaps I was overreacting because just for fighting for my life, fighting for a disorder, I am considered inhuman. I am considered worthless, throwaway, dirt, not as good as everyone else. And what I say means nothing because I am no longer human in their eyes, and they may not even be aware of it. I really need a better chair. They may not even be aware of it. This is where education comes in. See, I believe that you need to recognize the challenge, right? What do you do when you are enraged? How do you feel after? Shitty? Do you defend it by blaming the other person? Do you feel powerful but underneath shitty? You know, you might be thinking, if it's biochemical, then I have no control over it. Guess what? Bullshit. Here's the thing. You have to identify the challenges, okay? When I was a kid, I identified when I was adopted and I had the time and the space to do this. You know, I began, it's hard to explain. It's like I was so used to being bounced around that when I was adopted, I used to rearrange constantly. Mom let me. I didn't know why I was doing it, but it was because I was so used to a different environment every couple of weeks, months, depending upon the year. Rage protects us. Anger protects us. But that does not mean that you have the right to take that out on someone else. You're perpetuating the abuse. Stop it. Look inside of yourself. Learn about you. Recognize that you are valid, that your disorder, your symptoms, all of that is valid, but also recognize your personal responsibility. Overreacting is one of the words I wish they would take out of the English language. But just because someone says you're overreacting does not mean you're overreacting. I know in the moment you feel it and it's so powerful and so real, but no. Just because someone says it, someone believes it, doesn't mean it's true. I've got an ex-friend who lived in my home rent-free, right? Took over my kitchen and turned out to be not a friend, a complete asshole, and someone who was filled with an inordinate amount of rage, but was not self-reflecting. And he said, I was the most toxic person in the world. Me. I had no idea. But even though I laughed it off, it took me a couple of weeks of internalizing and looking into myself to see if I could find any of the signs of being a toxic person. I researched it. I had this list. I didn't fit any of them. He fit all of them. Pot calling the kettle black. I never got a thank you, by the way, for letting him live here. But again, I try to learn from everything. And so for me, it was a learning experience. But it also shows how rage can affect others. Just because someone says something, just because somebody pushed you against you, walked into you, said something mean, wanted to fight, doesn't mean you don't have a choice, unless they have hands on you. Obviously, at that point, you have a choice. You don't have a choice. But if you're feeling better because of getting rid of your rage by taking it out on others, there's something wrong with you. And you're probably going, well, duh, isn't there something wrong with all of us? There is something fundamentally wrong with you. If you are unwilling to look deeper inside of yourself, if you are unwilling to see that you are responsible for how you handle your rage, how you fit, excuse me, how you handle your rage. When I was younger and I was adopted, I would scream and yell and break things. And it wasn't until I made mom cry on Christmas. If I'm ever referring to bio mom, it's bio mom, not mom. So I made her cry at Christmas time, and I realized suddenly, it just clicked for me. I'm verbally abusive. So from that point on, I fought against being verbally abusive. And when I was verbally abusive, I tried to understand why and how I could respond differently in the future. It's no different now. There's a process that I go through in order to heal. There's a process that I go through in order to think. I was abused. I survived. I have a narrative that would make most people shudder. But I am responsible for my actions. No matter how bad I'm feeling, no matter how hurt I am, it is not the other person's fault. If you respond in rage, that is your choice. People don't like that. When I was, pre-help, I didn't understand that. Wait, hold on. What did I just say? Okay. So for me, when I was younger, I had to fight. And I've spent my entire life fighting against the impulses, but I'm not always a winner. That shit comes out and it's powerful and it can cause pain, even in people who understand or think they understand, because nobody except a fellow survivor will understand. Rage, anger, umbrella terms. There are a multitude of things that cause these emotions. Figure out what your triggers are and figure out what kind of person you want to be, because that's the point of this. Now, I've got a shitload of stories that I'll be sharing with you guys. I can't remember if I said I was going to share one with you on this. Oh, no. I can't find it. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So, My bio mom, when she would have her psychotic episodes, she would be full of rage, and she would be nowhere, within the realm of control. I've been there. But it's not until you recognize the symptom, the trigger, you have to understand yourself better and recognize these things so that you can work on changing the way you respond. If someone says you are overreacting, walk away. Walk the fuck away. Don't yell at them. Don't be like, you're taking my voice, fuck you, whatever, like I would have done. No, it's not the answer. What I would recommend is getting the book. And this is if you have post-traumatic stress disorder or complex post-traumatic stress disorder, but there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. It's listed on my Facebook page, which I believe I linked to in here. I'm not entirely sure, but I will if I didn't. It's a good book, and it's a good start. But what bothers me is that I have never found a book like I'm writing, where someone is not doing child abuse porn, talking about all the horrible things that happen to them, but is rather an adult trying to survive, trying to live in this world that was not made for us. You have to push your way in. And in a way, it's like coming through the birth canal, seeing that light. You have to push it. You have to be born. I know I'm not talking religion. You have to be born. And that can mean anything. It's all individual. But I can tell you this, once you start to lose your fear, once you start to understand it, start making it your bitch, you're headed in the right direction. But you also have to give yourself a break too, because we are constantly fighting to fit into this society, to fit into this world. Rage is okay. It's natural. But abuse is not. Wake up. See the truth. Look inside of yourself and see the truth. When my ex-friend left me that letter saying that I was the most toxic person, we were all kind of shocked by it. And, maybe it was his way of leaving without having to say thank you for letting me live here for several years without paying rent, putting up with my bullshit. Would have been nice, but we do not always get what we want in life. That is a truth. Rage. Rage against the world, rage against society, rage against conformity. If anyone tells you that you need to be different, they're not your friend. And if they can't handle your disorders, they're not your friend. The gems are the ones who stay behind. I had no gems in my life. I'm beginning to now, which is really cool. I'm beginning to live again. Well, actually live for the first time. So I'll figure it out. And there will be many, many more videos. But this is kind of an introduction one, and I just want to talk about rage. If anybody does watch this, please feel free to share your thoughts on this, because I am really interested in creating a dialogue. All right. Try to do something kind to yourself today, for yourself, and if you can, for somebody else. And remind yourself that you are valid and that no one has the right or the power to take away your humanity, to devalue you by using words like overreacting. Get over it. It's all bullshit. All right, nice to meet you guys. Thank you for watching if you did. And I am going to go now, and I don't know what I'm going to do.